Miikshi journeys ever closer to her underwater tunnel, her heart swells.
My heart doesn't appear to be swelling.
Swells with pride, Miikshi! With pride! You've completed so much of your tunnel. Aren't you proud of yourself? Gord, back me up here.
Seems proud to me. Look at the angle of her head.
Here we are back in Mystery Land, ladies and gentlemen, and man, oh man, have we got excitement. Great night, great night. Everybody's got a detective story candidate. Agatha Christie, Earl Stanley Gardner, Dorothy Sayers. Everybody's got a candidate as the crowd mills around the famous Academy of Detection Arts and Sciences. And no wonder. Being voted on tonight is the award, the Edgar it's called, for the best detective story of the first half of the 20th century.
Best detective story.
Ed, any word from the judges yet? Take it away, Ed.
I can just barely see the judges. Boy, are they sweating. There they are.
This is an absolute bore. These writers.
Mystery schmystery. On the first page, I know who did it. who done it?
You all recognize the chairman, Edgar Allan Poe, whose Murders in the Rue Morgue won the first Edgar.
Nevermore, nevermore.
To his right, Charles Dickens, who gave us one of the strangest detective stories ever penned, The Unfinished Mystery of Edwin Drood. And on the chairman's left is Fyodor Mikhailovich Dostoevsky.
She's wanted to build this underwater tunnel since we were 5 years old. She can't tell me she isn't jumping for joy inside.
Oh, this may excite your listeners, Chickalina. We're about to deploy an explosive charge to clear those rocks ahead.
Oh, yes! Do you get an adrenaline rush every time you blow up rocks?
No, it's standard procedure to level a lake bed.
Ugh! This podcast is gonna be so dry.
Good one.
The contest is closed.
Well, how can it be when we've got the greatest detective story of the last 50 years? The Strange Case of the Cosmic Rays.
Cosmic Rays.
Strange Case of the Cosmic Rays. An excellent title.
You realize, of course, the detective story has certain requirements.
Analysis, deduction, seemingly insignificant clues.
That's right.
Well, our story begins with a clue so insignificant, Mr. Poe, it wasn't even noticed for 100 years or more.
Science is for me a big bore.
A big bore? Why, do you realize that just while you were speaking, the criminal in our case fired 20 atomic bullets through your head?
Good. Holes in the head I like.
And you traced this criminal through that tiny clue you spoke of?
Yes, the story begins as an ordinary theft. Theft from this simple electroscope, a common instrument that's been in use to detect radiation for generations. It's just an airtight jar with an insulated metal rod, from one end of which hang 2 pieces of gold leaf. Now, normally, they hang straight down. Thank you, boy. But as every school kid knows, when an electric charge is put on the rod, so the leaves become charged. Now, as to the detection powers of the electroscope. When radiation is from this piece of uranium, for instance, enters the jar, the air inside is broken up into charged fragments, some of which neutralize the charge on the leaves and cause them to fall. And the stronger the radiation, the faster they fall.
What is this, a schoolroom? Where is the mystery?
Well, the mystery is that when a charged electroscope was put aside, when no known radiation was around, the gold leaves mysteriously lost their charge and collapsed anyway.
The tiny clue.
What was that?
It wasn't this uranium charge. I didn't even orbit.
Everyone stay calm.
We've lost the starboard engine.
This feels like some sort of tremor. We may be on top of an active volcano. What? Mr. Mayor, we might have to cancel the aqua tunnel.
But Miikshi,
That tunnel is your pride and joy.
I think the Trough Basin volcano reactivated.
The volcano under the lake bed
Oh, where did I put that hammer?
hasn't erupted in over 1,000 years.
Volcanic eruption intervals can range from
Oh, trying to fix my computer.
tens to thousands of years. This is just bad timing.
But don't you want to see your tunnel finished?
And now, the moment of truth. Is there an active volcano in Trough Basin?
My computer's still analyzing the data from my muon detectors.
Ugh, how much longer?
Your what detectors?
Muon detectors. A muon is a tiny particle made by cosmic rays from space.
Oh?
I'm tracking the time between when the muons hit my reference detectors on Lake Mabuki and the time they hit my receiver detectors on the bottom of the lake.
Huh?
Using those numbers, we can determine if the lake bed has been displaced.
Oh. And find out if we have to, cancel the aqua tunnel.
The analysis is finished, Miikshi. What's it say?
Oh no! There is displacement of the lake bed in Trough Basin. That means there's an active volcano under there.
Using explosive charges could have triggered an eruption, which would have put the entire city of Mabukiville underwater.
Oh, Miikshi, your tunnel.
Sorry, Miikshi.
Gord, start scanning for a new location where we can build the tunnel. I'm going to check on the submarine. It got pretty damaged.
Yep, she sat all right.
Really sad.
In Japan in 1935, at Osaka University, a genius named Hideki Yukawa sat alone with a pencil and a piece of paper, and he came up with a most amazing prediction. He said that the soldier, the unit of this terrific new force, would appear, believe it or not, as a small particle, a piece of actual matter. He calculated it'd be about 200 times heavier than the electron, and get this, would live about 1/1,000,000th of a second, then poof, it would disappear, die. Well, this was just too deep even for the highbrows. Yukawa's prediction dropped like a feather in the scientific pond. But meanwhile, the cosmic ray chase was still going on. Since the discovery of the positron, the scientific working stiffs were photographing cloud chamber tracks around the clock to see if there were more new particles among Fagin's henchmen. Well, up popped the devil. Seth Nedemeyer and Carl Anderson of Caltech and J.C. Street and E.C. Stevenson of Harvard all came up with a new track at about the same time.
What is it?
A real oddball. The track of a particle more than 200 times heavier than an electron, and which, if you please, lives only 1/1,000,000th of a second or so.
Yukawa's prediction. His nuclear soldier.
Why, of course.
No, doggone it.
Oh?
This strange new particle, called a mu meson, just didn't behave as Yukawa said it should. It wasn't quite the nuclear soldier he'd predicted.
There was a bit of disappointment on Yukawa's prophetic face. But there was no disappointment in the particle department. The bug-eyed cosmic ray detectives realized that they'd stumbled onto another brand new piece of matter that no one ever dreamed existed. And another henchman for Fagin's rogues gallery, the mu meson.
And then some 10 years later came the happy ending, happy for the Japanese wizard. It came from the developing tanks of a laboratory in the University of Bristol, England. On photographic plates exposed on the tops of the Bolivian Andes and the French Pyrenees, 3 astonished cosmic ray hunters, an Englishman, C.F. Powell, an Italian, G.P.S. Occhialini, and a Brazilian, C.M. Lattice, ran across the track of a quite similar but heavier meson.
Eureka! This was it. This soldier did obey orders.
This newer particle, it's called a pi meson, did seem to fit Yukawa's equations. His amazing prediction came true, and he was awarded a Nobel Prize for it.
I'm reminded of Isaac Newton, perhaps the greatest scientific mind that ever lived, and how he humbly described his monumental discoveries as now and then finding a smoother pebble or a prettier shell, while the great ocean of truth lay before me.
Pebbles,
Well,
pebbles.
that great ocean of truth still lies undiscovered before you.
Briefly, Charles, how do you vote?
I vote we invite these gentlemen to come back in 50 years to tell us what new chapters they've added to their cosmic tale.
Ah, excellent, Charles.
Thank you.
Most excellent.
Thank you.
And who will write these new chapters? The young. The inheritors of all the knowledge and culture of the ages.
Hello, I'm Professor Dougwin Tanaka. In today's story, Miikshi used a moometric technique called MooPS to monitor volcanic movement. You may wonder, however, why didn't she use just GPS? Well, GPS uses radio wave signals, and those cannot penetrate into water. The key feature of MooPS is three-dimensional positioning. This is because a number of muons penetrate into the sea from various angles to reproduce a similar configuration to GPS satellites and receivers. The position of the target can be well defined within the reference frame defined by the detectors. As we speak, cosmic rays from outer space are continuously creating zillions of muons in the Earth's atmosphere, and real-life scientists are trying to use MooPS to monitor underwater volcano activities, just like Miikshi. I hope this inspires you.